This is the October 16 meeting of the Harbor Management Commission Plan Update Committee. This is Kim Taylor. I am chair of the subcommittee. In attendance so far, Cheryl Beacock, Mary Van Kanta, Jack Hirschler, Jeff Stedman, Mark Foster.
Yeah, here.
Oh, great, Mark. Ed Billings, Doug Metchick, Sam Cargill. Well, hopefully when Ed and Doug and Sam join us, they'll let us know. So we're here this afternoon to review the latest version of the questionnaire. And do we want to just kind of start on page 1 and go through it? I think it looks pretty good. Anybody have a different suggestion than that? Okay. So the introductory statement I think is good. Anybody have any additions or suggestions to the page 1? So Jeff, would it appear this way on SurveyMonkey? Just like this? Or
yes, there's a lot. Well, I hope it'll fit on one. Well, it doesn't matter because you scroll down. You don't go from one page to the next. So
right.
I should be able to fit that on just like it is here.
Okay, and it would have the town logo, and it would would it be in this memo format, or would it just be straight up right? The Harbor Management Commission is seeking.
I wish I could tell you that there's place for an introductory, and I put those little photographs at the top of each page because those could be on a little the heading of each question. At the top, I could put that in. I think I can put the letter in just the way it is, Kim. But I just have to. What I'm not certain about though is providing the link to the presentation on the survey. I have to figure that out.
On that first page.
And then when we get later on, I can tell you about my conversation with the Fair TV fellow about how to do what we, put audio in with the survey. I think that'll, or not with the survey, with the presentation.
With the presentation. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So page 1 would pretty much be as it is.
Yes, that's the intention.
Okay.
Question. Could I ask a question, please?
Yes, please.
Is that link ready for us to click on, or do we have to wait for it to show up somewhere?
Oh, the link at the bottom? Fairfield?
Fairfield.org,
no.
Whatever.
I think the intent is that it would be there to just click on.
Yes.
I don't know if that's
there now.
I don't know, Mary. The email address that is not to click on the email address is just to say what the email address is. We'll have to figure out how to, how to deal with it with the access to the survey, or not. I keep saying the survey, the presentation. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
The presentation is on the website right now, Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. So I could get it that way then if I.
Yeah. It's right on it's on the website.
All right.
And I think it's right on the first page. So
it is.
I'm
looking there. I'm going to click on it to see what happens. If you like, do you think it'll come in, Jeff?
Well, you got to see.
Let me see.
It should.
It's not trying to connect to. Okay, I'm going to allow it. See what happens.
Okay, so we have page 1 that would be pretty much be the first page that people see. The second page is Southport Harbor Questionnaire. I like this with the ages in it, Jeff.
Pardon me?
I like having the ages and where do you live.
Well, I bet we talked about that. I don't know if that's the way you want to do that, but those are simple questions that people seem to be able to answer without too much controversy.
Jeff, the link does take you to that page. So it doesn't start it doesn't open the document, but takes you to where you can click to open the document.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the document's
a
PDF,
right?
Right, exactly. So if you just click on where that says 7/20/2020, July 2020 Harbor Management Commission presentation, if you click on that, Mary, it'll open up the PDF.
Yeah, it'll open it up. I didn't open it. I just wanted to see.
Okay, but it works. We're on the town site here.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Right.
I'm sorry, Jen.
No. Okay, good. So page 2, Southport Harbor questionnaire. We added a significant number of how do you enjoy the harbor questions, activities. That looks pretty complete to me.
Should we
suggestions?
Go
ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt. Should we simply say shoreline dog walking instead of shoreline walking with pets? Isn't that what we really mean? I don't know what.
That's what we really mean. Yeah.
Other pets would be out for.
I think shoreline walking with dogs is fine, and it identifies a particular group of people that seem to be down there a lot. I don't know that the people walk any other pets, actually. Wasn't there a commercial a while ago about people walking a pig? I mean, I haven't seen that in real life.
Yeah, they do have dogs and cats in strollers, however, from time to time. No kidding.
Well, we'll include that. They can include that under shoreline walking, Mary.
No.
So shoreline walking with dogs?
Yeah.
About dog walking.
Dog dash walking.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else to add there?
I get general.
Okay, moving along to page 3, question.
Mark had something, I think.
Oh, Mark?
Yeah. Just to this sheet and maybe a general comment to other sheets, where you're inviting people to write something in, such as at the bottom where it says other activities, please describe on under question 3. I'm thinking maybe put in a box, or lines. I like a box better, but just the only purpose would be not so people write straight, but just to kind of give people a prompt so they can quickly see that they're invited to write something there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if people are in a hurry, we'll just check things and turn the page.
Right. But doesn't SurveyMonkey provide that box, Jeff?
Right. Mark, if someone is completing this on the computerized survey, there will be a box to write in. But you're right. If we were to make paper copies of this, we'd have to, on the paper copy, I think do what you were talking about. But yeah, the way it would be filled out on the computer program, there would be a box where someone would be able to type right into it. But we got to figure out how to do this though. If it's a because we would, I think, want to have provision for people to fill out paper copies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
That
so
means that this layout is important.
Yeah.
So maybe take out the photograph at the top on the paper copies. You take out the photograph on this page, for example, which would give more space at the bottom.
At the bottom.
And we'll figure out a way to.
Well, I hate to have it be too long. I mean, if we could limit it to what we've got now, I think it's already getting on the computer. It probably won't be a big deal, but a paper copy, I'm not sure if people would see it all to the end if it was any longer.
No. I'm not saying, but just a little bit more space, maybe, like on page 2 at the bottom.
I agree.
Well, other activities, there is room there for. All right, maybe there is room here to do it.
If you write it, it might. I mean, there wouldn't be room for typing. That wants to dump it. They want to. They'll have to go on to the next page if they do it on a computer, right?
No, Mary. It's a computer program. You go into the program and you're just typing it into forms that are on the computer. It's like filling out like an application online. You know what I mean?
What happens when you come? The 2 at the bottom of the page, right? That's the end of the page, right?
Yeah, but on the paper copies, Mary.
Is this a paper copy?
On the computer, it'll give you the room, and it'll just keep moving along through the questions.
This says next. I just did one of these this morning, Mary, and it just says next. You hit the next button, it takes you to the rest of the survey.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay. So more lines at the after that. After
do you want to say?
Please
subscribe below. That would tell them where to subscribe. Please describe below.
Right.
How would that be?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we need to provide them. I think Mark's point was we need to provide them with room and a specific place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Question 4: how do you access the harbor? Check as many as apply. Again, to Mark's point, I think we want a box or lines or something right down at the end of the other locations and means. Please describe. Page 3.
Mm-hmm.
Any other suggestions for how you access the harbor? That looks really, really complete. Okay.
Are we accessing the harbor? Oh, that's a visual access too, right?
Right.
Okay.
On page 5, what harbor management priorities are most important to you?
Okay.
Do we really need the long introductory paragraph?
Can't hear you, Mark. Hello?
Yeah.
I think he said, do we need the long introductory paragraph?
Yeah, I'm thinking that those first 2 sentences could be worked into the cover letter, but it's it's just I think that a form like this you want to keep it kind of lean and just make it easy for somebody to breeze through once they decide to do it. And I just figured that you don't need these first couple sentences to get what's being asked and to fill it out.
We could just start this one with please.
Yeah.
Please tell us which of the following topics you think should be given the most attention.
Yep.
Just a second here. I was on PDF 4 of 6, question 5. Did I miss the where we are?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So this the town's priority goals for managing the South Florida Harbor have always focused on Yeah, that stuff. I just thought that I guess I'm getting more impatient with age.
We just take that out, Mark. That's all.
Or work it into the cover.
Yeah.
Please tell us which of the following topics you think should be given the most attention. That's a good way to start.
Yeah, and then check as many as you wish and add any additional comments.
Right. Okay.
I'm thinking about the one I did this morning, and they had questions where you were like this, where you had to force rank them. What will we get from everybody checking most of the boxes here? It's hard to imagine that somebody will just pick 1 or 2, right?
Good question. Yeah.
Well, then you know that we're doing the right thing or we're not doing the right thing.
Right. So if 80% of the people checked all the boxes, so they're all important.
That's fine. And
to make the argument, they all agree with the harbor management plan, but
right. I'm just sort of throwing it out there.
I don't think none of them know that
having
the harbor
everybody
management plan.
check all the boxes is going to help us a lot.
How many of these people do you think actually even know there's a management plan? I mean, be serious about this.
But that's part of doing this, Mary. There's an outreach component too,
right.
And that's the part of making the link to the presentation.
Yeah. So you have to say then what.
But do we want to make, to Jack's point, do we want to have some sort of a ranking opportunity or importance scale like we have for question 6?
Or just say rank your top 2 or 3. so you don't give them the opportunity to rank every one of them or to list everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And the toughest way to do it is to just make them, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and so on down the line, and they have to pick which one they assign it to. You can also do high, medium, low, like Jeff is saying, or very might be and not, like we did. So.
And pardon me, because I know I've missed a call, but how or who is doing the aggregating of the data when it comes back?
Yeah,
good
question.
Because the more we make this complicated, the more interesting it's going to be for however we're aggregating at the end.
The computer program does that, Cheryl.
Okay.
And someone has to look if people turn in paper copies, we'd have to do it ourselves. But the computer program would aggregate the
okay,
stuff. And
that's good. That's a good thing.
My guess is almost all of the responses we'll get will be by computer, and they'll have to add in manually the ones that came by paper.
Yeah.
Well,
so but I like the way we ask question 6. And do you think that asking each one of these priorities as very important, might be important and not important to me, does that give us any information that we might want? I mean, do we care if somebody doesn't like the notion of environmental quality or community? Yeah. Yep, go ahead.
No, I don't mean to. It's hard to do this when we're on the phone, I know it, but I was sort of thinking that like we just said, this is an important part of this is outreach and letting people know what we're working on and what's important, and that I don't think with respect to these issues, based on what we get, we're not going to change these. We're not going to say that these aren't important. We're sort of looking to see if anybody has any comments with respect to these, something that we want to give attention to. But I think if they rank them, I don't know what that's going to give to us, because the way we have the goals.
Yeah, I don't know, Jeff. I think it would tell us that the feedback from the public was they're all important, but in sort of prioritization of the sense of urgency around them from the people we surveyed, this is what our finding was. I agree with you. We wouldn't omit any of these things based on that result, but it might be instructive for us about at least
and give people a chance to think about it some more. So we could do
but
this.
But if any one of you had to answer this question and had to rank these, I guess what would your reaction be? I think I would get impatient, because it would be hard for me to say that any one of these is kind of less important than the other.
Yep.
I mean, the best I could do would be pick the ones that I would kind of relate to the most. I mean, recreational boating and environmental quality. I mean, it would probably be the 2, if pressed, that I would pick as the highest. But that, I don't know. I think it would be hard to rank them.
The way we've done this all the time in referring to the plan and the way it's laid out is that these goals have equal importance in a way. That the 3 principal goals are public health, safety, and welfare, beneficial use of the harbor, and protection of the environment, or conservation or environmental quality. So that those are the 3 basic goals. I mean, you could argue for any sort of plan like this, and harbor access is part of the beneficial use. But we've also said that when there's a potential conflict among the goals, that the public health, safety, and welfare is the most important.
Right.
Now, the community character and heritage is part of protecting the environment, the access is part of recreational boating, or is beneficial use, and recreational boating is part of that. Yeah,
the checkbox that we have right now will certainly result in most of the boxes typically being checked, I think, right, for the reason.
Yeah, right. And then maybe somebody adds a comment, and that's what Kim, I had forgotten to do that, but somebody adds a comment that we hadn't thought of under one of these, and says,
we don't want them to either approve or disapprove of these, do we? These topics are all ones that the harbor management does pay attention to already, right?
Well, remember when we started, Mary, that there were people who disapproved of harbor access, unless it was for them. But that's another story.
Well, where's harbor access here? Yeah, no, they did. I mean, they didn't want anybody to be able to get into the harbor. Well, that problem can be answered very easily. It is because of the federal government. You want to go to mess with the federal government? I don't think we do.
We're not doing anything with that right now.
And plans have already been. We worked hard. You guys worked hard to work with the federal government on just exactly how you could manipulate that so that there is access to the harbor besides other people than the people who actually live there and belong to clubs, etc.
Well, what kind of as it is now, we're asking for comments. So, public health, safety, and welfare. I mean, what do you think we could learn from those comments?
They might say something about the people swimming or off of the lower wharf, or having the dogs swim in the channel.
Right.
Yes.
Recreational boating is
the kayaks paddling right down the center of the channel in strong traffic.
Right.
They might say
speeding down the center of the channel.
Right.
Pardon me?
Speeding down the center of the channel. And nobody, well, I shouldn't say no one, but that no wake zone seems to be forgotten.
Right.
Really?
From what I see.
More
the power boats. Yeah.
So really, it seems like the people have the interest and the time to put in their comments under these headings. That would be maybe most significant. We're not going to change the headings, but we
might
learn
some things about each one of them that we.
Yes.
I mean, we all know about the swimming, and we all know about the kayaks in the middle of the channel, but we might learn some things, and we might also. This might be a place where we identify. We learn about problems that need our attention.
Yeah.
What about you say the overarching job of the Harbor Management Commission and in the Harbor Management Plan is public health, safety, and welfare of the harbor. And here are some subtopics. Which ones is there anyone that you have you any comments about any of them following?
Yeah, I don't know, Mary, because public health, safety, that's one topic. The others are, well, I guess you could discuss it under all of them, but.
Yeah, safety. And
but that's not what.
Community character and heritage is a hot button for some people.
Right. So we might learn. They might express their opinion. We don't do enough, or we haven't done. There's not enough. Or what was that you? Why didn't you do something here? And why did you do something there?
So maybe we emphasize that it's not just additional comments. We're looking for comments on these topics.
Yeah. Are we looking for a report card for the Harbor Management Commission? It's not like we go out there every day in a boat and run around with a whistle. But the Harbor Management, the Harbor, what do we call him? The
Master.
Ed Billings.
Yes, the Harbor Master.
Call attention to that, and also and it is the job of the users of the harbor and the commission to call in the problems to Ed and the police. By the way, Marine Police, if it still exists.
So, do we want to? Maybe we don't want them to check any. if these are our goals, maybe we want just their comments about the goals.
That's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not going to change unless you want to go back to the state.
No, but
we don't know. No.
Yeah.
So we're not going to change them because they're good, Mary.
Yes, they are.
And don't we really just want their reactions to the goals?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So we changed this from we mentioned that these are the goals, and your comment. I could
comment about each one.
That. Comments about each one.
Yeah.
I can try to do this. So this one we're getting away from checking the boxes where the response has to be, people have to give it some thought and they have to write something out.
Yeah.
Although some of them may not be important, they may not have something to say about each
right.
one.
You need to not make it mandatory, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but Jeff,
are you really into goals here, or do you say these are the major categories that our Management Commission and the plan emphasize? Something like that.
Well, either way, we're not going to change them. And I think either way, as Jeff points out, this is an outreach as much as it is about gathering information. And if we simply say that these are the 6 areas that the plan tries to focus on, tell us what you think about it, then we get different information than if we ask them to rank them or if we ask them to, just say they like them.
Or
I don't know.
Take that in as information.
I think we could do this. I think we set it up so we're asking comments for each of these, however we call them, goals. We call them priorities here.
Okay.
That's priorities, or is that what they say in the plan?
Maybe focus areas, Jeff?
Pardon, I didn't hear you, Jack.
Focus areas, maybe?
Focus areas, yes. That people understand that.
Yeah.
Focus areas, that's a good one.
Important areas.
Pardon me?
Important areas.
I like the focus areas, Mary.
I like focus areas, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody might, which are important to you, and what do you have that you'd like us to say? I can revise this with that, but it requires them to write something here, not just check the box. All right.
But they could say, they can say yes, 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 yes. They don't have to.
Yeah,
but certainly we will have communicated that this is even if they don't have anything to write, we will have communicated what we focus on, and I can't imagine they wouldn't leave this page without having a good feeling about us.
Yes.
Even if they don't have anything to say.
It is, yeah, in many forms.
When they're calling topics, we're calling them focus areas.
Yeah.
And which ones are most important to you? We're not. Yeah. I think that's a good discussion.
Yeah. I'm sure you can figure it out.
Well, we just figured it out. We just have to write some
but you can
words here.
Wordsmith it, and that'll be fine.
All right.
Good.
I'll send it back. I can't email it from where I am, but I can work on it here.
Okay. Page 5. What do you think of the following priority projects?
And that's good to say focus areas for number 5 and number 6. Question number 6, we got priority projects. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I like this, I must say.
Did you already change it, Ed?
What's that, Mary?
Okay, all right. I didn't read all the way down the page. All right, okay. So we're into 6.
Yep.
Oh,
number 6, page 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Thoughts, suggestions?
The question 6, reads, what do you think of the following priority projects? I'd change projects to initiatives. If you're going to keep the first sentence below, the Commission is pursuing several major initiatives.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's good. That's a good catch, Mark.
Anything else? Again, box at the bottom or lines at the bottom for suggestions.
I think those are very good, don't you?
Yeah. I like the way that's set up. I think that's...
Yeah, I like that very much. That spells it out.
Anything else on page 5? So page 6, additional comments.
And do you want to tell them how to communicate them?
Well, again, there'll be a box here, box and lines, I assume.
Page 6 on the bottom, contact information. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we got to give some thought to that, Mary. We haven't. We've got to get to that point. Yeah.
Well, you've gone through the initiatives. There they are, right? Oh, this is section 7, which is on page 6. Okay.
I might stop the statement there under any additional comments with concerning the harbor period, and then let them write whatever their story or thought is, and put the questions down there with the HMC website down under contact information.
So you want them to let you know what Southport Harbor means to them, right?
I like that question. You have a story or a recollection or...
Yeah.
I don't know. How do others feel about that?
Are we asking that to make them feel included, or what do we intend to do with that?
Well, I can imagine, and Jeff and others please chime in, I can imagine that we would, some of that might be good information that we could include in some of the short presentations. We might be able to identify people who could speak.
Well, I just thought it would be interesting. Actually, might learn something. I don't know how, or it might give people, a chance to think and do something that they write something that they're interested in. I didn't think it was going to really. I just thought it would be an interesting, giving people the opportunity to do something like that. The Forestry Committee, we had a photo contest. Please submit your photo of a tree, or I don't know if it was drawings and photos, and then we I shouldn't say we. I mean, I helped. The committee displayed them on the first floor of the town hall. It was quite nice because people, they gave some thought to what they submitted, and so this isn't the same thing, but it.
Well, but could it be? I wonder.
Yeah, that's taking it in a different, another direction here.
Well, certainly that if people fill this one out, there won't be any. I mean, I don't think there'll be any common data to tabulate.
No, yes, it would just be something. The tabulation or the presentation of it in the computer tabulation would just be the reproduction of what was typed in.
Right.
Now, how does having any questions fit in with that?
What do you mean, Mary?
All right, the next sentence says, and please transmit any questions you may have for the Harbor Management Commission. Do you want that?
Well, no, but we're asking. We're just asking. Well, who knows? Maybe we got to change what we wrote here. But we're just asking people to write whatever they want here.
Right. Okay. And additional comments, and then list them. The type suggestions are.
But Kim's suggestion was we just leave it. Please share your thoughts on what the harbor means to the person, and maybe your favorite recollection or story, and then leave it like that.
And forget about the questions.
What does Southport Harbor mean to you? Maybe on number 7 is the title of it.
Yeah.
And then.
I mean, we can certainly, and you did at the outset, Jeff. You included the town, our email address, and suggested that people could contact us there. So, whether we need it in both places or not, I don't know. But I like the idea of hearing a story. I mean, Cheryl's right. I don't know what the heck we would do with the information. How we could possibly share it, because I'm sure there would be some that would be shareable.
Right.
And how we could acknowledge others how we could acknowledge the responses. But I find that question interesting.
Yeah, I think it would. For me, if someone had, look at you, Mary. You could write like a book on it. But
not going to.
What?
I'm not writing anything ever again.
Yeah, you're the only person whose name we would attach to this. But I'm teasing. But it would be nice. What does Southport Harbor mean to you? And then let someone give them.
It means a lot to me, and I'd be happy to write about it. But it would be just a few sentences.
Well, I meant for the question.
But Mary, if you were taking this survey, when you're taking this survey, and you came upon that question, would you respond? Would you give us an answer?
If you say, please share please share your thoughts on what Southport Harbor means to you, and perhaps share with us your favorite recollection or story concerning the harbor. I would not put.
Would you do that?
Yeah, I might.
Would you?
Yeah. Okay. If there's yes, I would. I would, period.
And would you like to do that, or would it be annoying?
As for some people, it would be annoying, and for other people, they would love it.
Right.
And for a lot of people, they just whiz by it because this is
because they don't have time.
Don't have time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they could, but it's like a text. You could write. I mean, anybody could write what you would put in a text.
Right.
Or your thing, your Tweety, or whatever it is.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a 5-page essay.
Right.
And then, like Kim said, if people have questions, we can say up front, you use that email address and transmit your questions via that email address.
Right.
Yes.
So are we then going to extract that invitation on item 7? Because if item 7 is share your comments or memories and also add questions, you have two different topics there that you're addressing. So do you just want to remove the invitation to question on that item 7?
Yeah, that's what Kim suggested, Cheryl. We take that out of there.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So Jeff, just to be clear, at the end when we've done all these surveys and gotten the results, we'll just get a report out that just lists all the verbatim responses to these open-ended questions, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So are we prepared, now that we're asking for questions, are we prepared to answer every single one?
That's a good one.
That's a good point.
That's the downside of surveys. I mean, there's a ton of upside, but if you ask for questions and you don't respond, that doesn't send a good message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, up here on page 1, Jeff says you can contact the commission by email at. Why don't we just leave it at that?
Yeah.
That's probably better. then
best.
Yeah.
And if there was the normal meetings, the way to talk about that would be say to come to a meeting and express your question.
Each meeting has a 15-minute comment period in it. Please comment and give us your questions and comments.
Oh, I like that.
Well, that's a good idea. I mean, certainly, if we have, I monitor that email account, and if we have questions, or comments, that would certainly be appropriate for me to bring them to the commission meetings, and we could discuss them there.
Yes.
I think in those cases, however, it would be wise, Kim, to know who presented those. I really think in order to you can't just have something that comes out of the air.
No, certainly the person who would email you presumably would sign their name and address. As they do, they have to identify themselves when they speak at any public meeting, so they would do that at before we, depending on the question. But it seems to me that's one way to handle the questions, is to just leave it as a comment. And if I would assume that if people really have a burning question, they'll use the email.
Do we, and pardon me if this has been discussed before in a call I wasn't on, but do we or should we say right at the beginning, all responses are anonymous unless you identify yourself? Can we say that? And I don't know whether SurveyMonkey really allows for anonymity, even to the Harbor Commission. But that might influence how candid people are. If they truly know that they're anonymous, they might be more candid.
So under number 8, where it says contact information, we would say your answers are confidential, or we should probably put that up front if it's going to be confidential.
I would put it up front. Yeah.
Yeah.
But are they? That's the question I'm asking. Are they really confidential?
I don't know.
The minute you put them in online, the minute you put the results of the survey online, or any other thing, the results of having the survey analyzed will go back to them, I assume. It's public.
But Jeff, the system is not capturing people's personal information unless they provide it, right? There's nothing about SurveyMonkey. They're going to a website and filling out a form. If they don't provide their personal information, we don't have it. It can't be gotten from somewhere else.
That's what I'm asking. So if Mary Von Conta wants to say this whole program stinks, and that goes in as part of the survey, I'm being facetious, obviously. Can we see her responses coming from Mary Von Conta at whateveronline.net?
It's like if you just go to a website, we don't know where it came. Somebody just typed something into
what I'm asking.
When we did similar things in Norwich and West Haven and New London, and people asked, could add additional comments. People can't. Another person can't go into the SurveyMonkey and see what other people have written. But the summary though would just reproduce what's written in terms of comments. We didn't provide for people to put their names in when we did this before.
No, you didn't provide for it. But what I'm asking, and I don't mean to belabor this, what I'm asking is if I sent in my response and
put your name on it.
And didn't put my name on it, would my response show up as coming in from CherylHB@optonline.net? So by default,
not from my experience.
That's what I'm asking. Okay, that's what I'm asking.
So when we go to tabulate, I guess the other part of that question is though, will we be able to see an individual's responses to all the questions, or do we simply see a tabulated?
Right.
The tabulation.
We see a tabulated summary.
Okay.
I think I sent to you an example of a tabulated summary. If I didn't, I'll do that.
Okay.
But what do we do when people put in their, these other surveys we did, we didn't have a provision for people to put their name into it. So what happens when they do that? Well, I'll have to figure it out, I guess.
I guess that's a good question. No, but I think that's a good question. Does that mean that if somebody puts in contact information that we're and it probably does mean this, we're obliged to contact them?
Yeah.
I mean, especially if they have a critical comment or a really unique story.
You know why we did that, or maybe at least I know why I did it, is because maybe it was Doug or somebody mentioned the strategic plan committee in the town, right?
Right.
And that they did a survey, and they just had a form saying, please tell us what's on your mind. There wasn't any questions. Right. Please describe your idea. But they also said they had a place for their name, address, email, and phone. And they said contact information is requested in case we would benefit from a follow-up discussion. So this Town of Fairfield Strategic Plan Committee that we looked at, I mean, all it is a couple of paragraphs and a place for your name and address and a big open, empty space to write stuff. But I think that was the origin of putting the names down, and then maybe we thought it would be helpful if we wanted to contact someone.
Yeah. I would tell them how to contact us and forget about what they're putting in. Then they give us their names at that time.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Jeff, that we could even correlate the responses to the person's contact information. So
there you go.
If they filled this out, we would get a bunch of people's names and phone and emails, but we wouldn't know which comment, which person,
what they said or who they,
So it might be best to send that they have other comments and they just...
Yeah. We don't need the contact information raises the issues that Cheryl mentioned and how do we deal with it.
And by all means, mention the public time on the agenda at each commission meeting when the
all right.
pandemic is over. Question. Have you ever considered having your meetings a little bit later than you're having them now?
We moved up them. Yeah, we sure have, and we moved it up 15 minutes or so. And we can't do it now. We can't do it in mid-season.
No, you can't do it now. But
you got to do it at the beginning of the year. I'd move it if that was what the other commissioners.
You're going to have a problem because of the overlap with the yacht club members who are on the board of governors who are also on this commission have a 7 o'clock start or 7:30. So I can't remember.
I mean, the beauty of meeting at this time, I know it's a pain in the neck for people who work, but the beauty of meeting at this time is that we're not bumping into any other commissions and boards that need to have the bridge system. That gives us tremendous freedom.
Peace and quiet too. You don't have the enraged people coming with their burning sticks to have you put in jail, which you get with other commissions that meet at a more convenient time.
Those are just the commissions that you're on, Mary. That doesn't affect the other.
No. How about the one with the deer? How about that one?
All right.
Conservation Commission and
Jeff, on the paper version of this, we need to be crystal clear about where people have to send the paper response.
Yes.
Right.
You have to decide if it goes to town hall or where, to Betty or whatever. And at the beginning of this, it might be whether it's the SurveyMonkey version or the printed version. It might be helpful to give people an expectation how many minutes it might take them to complete it.
Yeah.
I think Mark's suggestion earlier in the call was that we want to keep this as tight as possible, and if you manage people's expectations that it won't take too much of their time, we might get more completes.
Yeah.
And the unknown is how much time people want to spend on that last
but it can
question.
Be done in under 10 minutes if they wish. So
and
SurveyMonkey, you can't see how long the survey is unless somebody tells you that at the beginning that it shouldn't take you more than X time to do it.
It will say that, I think, because all right. I got to work on that over the weekend.
But we're going to take version. I think at the beginning. Somebody looks at it, if they think it's going to be too involved, they might just take a pass on doing it on paper.
So my question, because we're not going to get contact information, and I hate to be asking this question, But if we're asking people for their favorite stories or their recollections, but we have no way of connecting the favorite stories or the recollections to people who did the response, is that useful?
They'd have to put it in the same box where the story is in order for us to have the contact information. Otherwise, it would be connected, right?
That's a very good point. So when you started out the meeting, Kim, saying we've got more work to do on this, and you were right, but it'll make it better.
So how about would it be possible, do you think, to say, instead of asking people to write their favorite story or recollection right there on the in SurveyMonkey or on the paper copy, to say, if you have a favorite story or recollection that you would like the commission to know about, here's our email address?
Yeah, give them a mailing address and or an email address.
Yeah.
Some of these people
I don't know.
So the last question then is number 6. What do you think of the following priority initiatives?
Yeah.
And then we could have something about the commission is interested. Yes, we encourage you to share your thoughts and please send them to the email address.
You could just say the same thing you say here, and then say, please send it to us at hmc.fairfieldct.org.
Yeah.
And that way we wouldn't. I mean, I love the question, but if we can't correlate experiences and thoughts to names, then it doesn't go anywhere. Then that seems a shame.
You could say, to preserve your anonymity but make it possible for us to contact you. Would you please do this?
And to that point, Mary, I think I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, what happens if someone has a serious safety concern of which we're unaware, or if it's larger than something we are aware of? We're going to need to be able to talk to someone about that. And I think from a safety perspective, what Mary just said, maybe we reference, in order to follow up more closely with this, blah, 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 please provide your information. Otherwise, we could be running down rabbit holes on every issue that people decide to throw in. But if it's a serious safety issue, I would think we would want to know who to talk to that has experienced this.
Absolutely, and we'd have to have and in my case, you get more help if you gave me a phone number.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So people just can't say, somebody's going to get killed by XYZ, and we don't know who's making that comment or why. It's what help is that?
But again, if someone has an immediate safety concern, the harbor master's number is a public number, right?
Right.
That's true.
And we'd ask them to contact if it's immediate, because we have publicized that in other places.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay.
But there is no other number. I mean, there's nobody else to call. Calling me is something I'd rather not have happen.
No,
you shouldn't.
There's not much I can do except call the police.
You have no power. The harbor master has legal power.
Right.
But we could say someplace, if you have a concern that affects public safety and requires immediate attention, please call the harbor master or the Marine Police Department, division, something like that.
Yeah,
perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I think we might also want, though. Again, I'm just talking too much here. That the other surveys I mentioned, we did get. We had a question at the end. Anything else you'd want to add? And people made some interesting. Some people only a few people used bad language to refer to the mayor or somebody they didn't like. But most of the comments were short, but they were interesting. So I think we might want to still keep that, and as well as the extra question on what does the harbor mean to you and your favorite recollection or story, and ask them to submit that separately.
Okay.
That we're compiling, those sorts of recollections and stories. I think that's part of the history and what the harbor means to people.
Right.
Anyway, I'm just talking here, but
so that's one more chance. People will have a chance to respond on to the focus. No longer using the word priorities, but the focus, the priority initiatives, and then other areas of concern. So that would be 3 chances that folks would have to talk to us.
And we could make a separate note of the story or what does the harbor mean to you on the town website when we're introducing the survey. We could say something about that separately, maybe.
We could do that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And also, go ahead,
Cheryl.
No, go ahead, Mary. Mary was going to say something.
One of the things that they do, one access that they do have to the commission is to attend a meeting. And ask to speak in the public section, and you can. It helps if you write a brief letter if you want to attend and say something. But you don't have to with the Harbor Management Commission. You can just show up and give your name and address and say I'm concerned about blah blah blah. And that's,
right. We say that up front, Mary. We can.
You do.
Yeah. We can make that maybe more clear. And then the survey.
I don't remember ever having somebody come in if they hadn't already been howling and shrieking, and we told them to come in.
Remember Mr. Coleman?
Yes, and I also remember a few others. We invited them to come in, most of them, not Mr. Coleman.
Well, I'm not laughing at Mr. Coleman. He was just an example of someone who had something that we urgently
wanted to
grind
to the commission from now until forever. So.
No, he had some interesting things today.
I find I was very interested. We very rarely had anybody at a harbor management meeting in the audience, other than someone who had business there that we had told them they had to come to, and most particularly those would always involve some kind of a permit, a dock permit or whatever.
Right.
You've had those. You know what I'm talking about. So that's important, and they usually bring their engineer. Or their lawyer, or both, or some of them just show up themselves with an engineer, or show up by themselves, and you can help them figure out how to do it. But it's important for them to know when the meetings are and where. And
we say that right up front. And unfortunately, we've met once in person in the last 10 months, and
Yep.
Yeah.
People can listen to the meetings, but that's not and send an email, but that's not very satisfying.
No, it isn't.
Do we plan to say anywhere, either at the beginning or the end of this survey, that we expect to have a summary, not detailed summary, but a summary of responses no later than February, 2021? So that people know that we're planning to publicize what we heard?
Good idea.
We say that in the introductory letter, Cheryl, we will publish the results of the questionnaire and also hold a public meeting to discuss the results, hear your comments, and talk about the harbor management plan. I mean, that's good in theory. I guess we'll have to figure out how to do that in a remote meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
But okay, so we at least tell them that, yes, you're, for all the time you're putting into the survey, we do plan to get back with you in the aggregate, but we're not committing to a date by which that's going to happen.
Yeah. Due to the pandemic. Yeah.
Which is which is probably smart, but I don't know.
Do we want to? I think we also need to. Probably maybe not this. Maybe this isn't the time to do it, but to think about how long we want to make this survey available. We're
Good point.
Just is it a month, 2 months? How much time do we think folks are going to need to? How much time do we need to get it to as many folks as we can?
Give them as short a period of time as you possibly can.
I would agree. No more than a month.
Okay.
I say no more than a week.
I was.
Well, I think we have to rent Survey Monkey for a month. So.
Suppose nobody responds. Suppose nobody responds in a week, Mary.
Well, I don't know from Survey Monkey, so you guys do that. I'm Telephone Monkey, so I don't know.
You want to do it before the holidays, because people will have other things going on starting in Thanksgiving. So if we're going to do it now, I would maybe cut it off November 15th, whatever. That's a month.
A couple of weeks. Yeah. A couple of weeks, and that's it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to drag forever.
Well, we have to present it to the commission and get their okay to pay for SurveyMonkey. So we could do that. I don't know if we're ready to do that on Tuesday night.
I'll try to be. I've got to do some other stuff here. I'll
do you have a treasurer right now?
Yep.
Do you know how much money is in that special account?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Mary, we're talking
about plenty.
We're talking about less than $100 if we only did it for 2 months.
So you just simply say we need your approval for spending $35 to send out a SurveyMonkey.
Yeah,
and that takes care of
but
that.
They haven't seen it yet, so.
No, they have to
and
go.
Our November meeting is the 17th. So if we had to wait till November. Yeah.
You're into Thanksgiving and Christmas.
We're into Thanksgiving, and we could wrap it up before Christmas.
Or you could delay it and send it out. Well, now you're sending out the boat rental, boat.
Do that in December.
Yeah,
and
that's
that in
just
December,
the
Mary.
Order, so that won't do.
Yeah.
What?
We do that in December.
Yeah, but that would only cover the people who have mooring permits.
Right.
So that would.
I mean, you could hold off and do it right after the New Year. So
I wonder if that's not a better idea.
Yeah. I mean, you really want
nothing.
people. Go ahead. Sorry, Kim.
No, sorry.
Yeah, I just think we're closing in on the holidays. This isn't going to be a priority for people, and if you really truly want their feedback, they're probably not going to have much to do, especially with the pandemic right after New Year's. Maybe that's the time to give them something to do.
And we can still move ahead with the presentation that we're talking about now, with the slide presentation, and have that on the website.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Get everything done and just exactly the way you want it, and then hit them with it right after the first of the year. I think that's a great idea.
Oh.
Jack, what do you think?
Everybody's crazy before. Well, it's not. I'm not going to be crazy. I'm going to be sitting here all by myself. My grandchildren won't allow me to associate with anybody, including them. So there we are.
Say anything about that?
But so people are at home. But
I think waiting till January to get it out when there's nothing else going on. We'd much better. I agree. We'd have much better chance of getting people's attention. I'm sorry that we've done all this work and gotten this far and then had to slow down. But I think getting more attention is better than less.
Yeah,
you'll also have a chance to send a sample of it to all the members of the commission and have them know what it's about.
Right.
And maybe notify.
Does anyone else in the town need to review this?
I think it's always a wise idea to let the first select person's office know about these things.
Yeah, I don't.
We can certainly do that.
And the town attorney, I don't know. I just am thinking, who needs to approve this?
I don't think you need a town attorney, but if you do, the first selectman's office will tell you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were hoping that the first select woman would in her update, the newsletter that she sends out would include a link and a brief description of what it was. So they certainly would have to see it before we put it out, if that's one of the routes we're going to go.
I think it's annoying to have to do in the beginning, but I think you save yourself a lot of trouble if you did it.
Yeah.
Potential trouble.
Yeah.
I do too. And you need to bake time in to do that and to have them take the time to review and respond. So, backing into the timeline we're up against now, I think this extra time we have helps enable that review.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too.
And we probably, if we're going to do SurveyMonkey, that's pretty easy to get that out there. But if we're going to provide paper copies, then we also have to think about where and get permission, and we'd have to print some stuff.
Right.
And think about how we're going to get them back. So that
where
also
we get our
take
list?
time.
Sam, where does the list of the people you're going to mail the paper copies come from?
No,
we weren't going to mail. Well, we weren't going to mail them, Mary. We were going to put them in places where people might be able to pick them up.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, and we haven't really. It's sort of on our agenda, but we haven't ever really spent much time talking about what those places would be.
Yes.
Right.
So that's something that we should
before the pandemic is over, they won't have them there anyhow. They won't let you in any crowds.
Yeah.
Well, no, but there are places where things could be distributed that are still open.
Right. Right.
I guess there's nobody running the boatyard in the wintertime, but that's okay.
Right.
The Pequot Yacht Club is not open to the entire world all the time, but I guess they can provide a spot to pick it up. And maybe one of the, I don't know, post office might have a stack of them. I don't know.
Yeah. So we still have some work left ahead of us.
Yes.
So it's 4:07, and we've pretty much kept these meetings so far to an hour. Perhaps the best course of action would be for us to, Jeff, send our changes to Jeff.
Yeah.
You can, put them together. I don't know. 2 weeks from today is the 30th of October. We could meet on either the 30th of October or the 6th of November, depending on what people want to do, and review the changes, and hopefully by then see SurveyMonkey format, and come back to the table with ideas about where we would distribute paper copies. Is that
something Betty could look into for us?
Sure.
Yes, sure. She can help us with
Definitely. That's a good idea.
Because she's so efficient, and instead of us scrambling, thinking up ideas, I'll bet she could come up with definitive solutions.
Yeah. Do you mind talking to her about that, Cheryl?
I'm happy to give her a call. I don't know if is she in the office or how is she working?
Yes,
she's in the office, but she leaves at 3:30.
Okay.
That would be great if you could do that. And I know we've asked her about the First Select Woman's letter, and she said that we would have to go to Jen Carpenter for that. So that we know how to do that, and that could be that's pretty straightforward. So
can someone send me? I'm not sure if I still have Betty's number. Could someone please send that to me?
Sure. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll do that. So is that a plan? When do we have a preference for either meeting on the 30th or the 6th?
The 6th would be better for me.
6th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else?
Fine.
Anybody problem with the 6th?
Might I comment on my conversation with the fellow from Fair TV?
Okay.
Do you know Mr. Spino? He's an interesting sort of character. He's the large fellow that you see doing the cameras at well, of course you haven't seen it recently, but he said they have not done something like this, but they would look forward very much to helping us with this. And he said the first thing we should do is go through if not a script, but figure out how long it's going to take to do this presentation, and then he would have one of the people that works for him, fit. And I said there might be two presenters, and he said, well, you could also break it up into part 1, 2, and 3, but for us to first go through it and give him an idea of how long it will take, so that we have basically we sort of rehearse what we're our narration for each of the slides, and that he'd get wireless microphones, and that they'd record what we were doing or saying, and there would be possibility not to do multiple takes, he said, but we could make some adjustments, and then that they would somehow, I don't know if you call it overlay or combine the audio with the slides. But he said the first thing is for us to get a sense of how long it's going to take and figure out how we're going to talk about it. And then I said to him, well, how much is it going to cost? And he said, well, $8,000 or $9,000. And then I said, oh. And he said, well, but for you guys, maybe we'll just charge $25 an hour. That sounds good. So it's a minimal amount that we would have to.
Right.
That would be involved with this, but and he's looking forward to helping us with it, because it's something that he said in other commissions or departments he's not aware that they've done, at least not with the help of Fair TV.
Fair TV. So would there be two people being recorded at the same time, or?
Well, we could have it. Yeah, that's what he said. Well, how many people would be talking? And I said, well, we might have two people, giving some narration about each slide. And he said, well, you got to figure that out yourself, how long it's going to take, and give some thought to what you're going to say, so you're not just, winging it when we record you. But so I don't know. I think the first thing is think who's going to talk and maybe get together. We would do it by the people talking would be looking at the slides on the computer screen, and then in that same room would be whomever he assigns to help us, and we'd have microphones that we'd be. You said wireless microphones that we would be speaking into. I think it's an interesting idea that we should pursue, because especially since no one else has done something like this.
So in the same room would be a Fair TV guy recording, two speakers. Would you, Jeff, be there to make sure that all the points were covered if you weren't one of the speakers? I mean,
well, it's up to you what you want me to do. I'd sort of like to talk about some of them anyway, at least the history of the Harbor Management Plan.
But why wouldn't we script it in advance to keep it efficient?
I think you should. Yeah.
To me, you're not videoing people, right? So it's just recording. It should be scripted. So you're saying exactly what you want to say.
Yeah, I don't disagree, Cheryl.
Making it seem natural, also, right?
I was trying to think of more of like a not a presentation with it. You're reading from the cue cards, but you're having a conversation about the harbor, and that's in the background. But yes, you're right. You'd have to talk about, make sure you knew what you were going to say, and not just. But it would be a more informal sort of discussion. Well, but we can figure that out.
Well,
the idea of having two people,
has to be a certain length,
about the idea of having two people is to make sure if one person neglects to mention something, the other person can use it out. So.
Exactly right. If someone forgets, you know what your outline is of what you want to say. I mean, it's sort of not unlike, with Cheryl. We were hoping to do this with Jim Bradley and myself, or if you wanted me to do it in a public meeting where the slides are on the wall. And we're talking, and that's not, we're not reading a script. We know what we want to say, but because the slides themselves tell an interest, a story. So
question: are you going to be part of the people? Part of what is? Are they going to put you on the screen as well, or are they that are? Human beings are not seen; just their voices are heard.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that because we just talked about doing the audio that then gets synchronized or whatever the word is with the slides, Mary.
Right.
So I didn't talk about Fair TV, filming the people speaking.
So you just want a voiceover for each slide.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
With an introduction.
Right.
So what do we think would be the one that we would get started with? I mean, originally we had talked about three biggies: the history of the Harbor Management Plan, and the Harbor Master duties. What the Harbor Master does.
See, that's interesting because we have the presentation with the with the slides and describing the harbor and the harbor management plan and the priorities. Now we only have one slide on the harbor master. So we don't have a presentation specific, with multiple slides on the duties of the harbor master.
Yeah.
We have a slide on dredging, and we don't have multiple slides. And I think this is one of the most interesting things is the history of preparing the harbor management plan and its benefits. There are several slides on that. But we'd have to go back to the presentation and see if we want to just do the audio based on what we've got, or we want to modify it in some way and break it up into those categories. Where we'd have to have we'd have to expand the slides, I guess.
I think in terms of priority, I think that the history and the plan itself are the most urgent to get going for the purposes of our plan update. So
right.
The others are surely important and nice to do, but I think if we're going to have to see how this works with Fair TV, doing the creation of these sort of webcasts with us, we should focus on one or just two of them to start with and see how it goes.
Well, maybe that's something we can take a look at for the meeting in early November. That we take a look at how the presentation is now, and what we think we might, if we want to adjust any of the slides, or whether we just go through the slides as they are, and talk about these things that was the intent of the presentation to start with.
Right.
We talked about trying to chunk this up into things that were no more than 10 minutes long or something like that. So that would require us to think carefully about divvying it up and being really focused about which ones we're going to talk about.
Right.
It's a lot of work, but
we got the presentation, Mary, and we have the knowledge. The work is, like Cheryl said, thinking it through, so we don't make glitches.
I left the conference for a while I had a phone call I had to respond to, so I just got back a minute ago.
So why don't we all take a look at the presentation, which is on the HMC website, and think about whether we want to, as Jeff suggested, either just start at the front and move to the back, or if there are sections, particularly about the plan and sections about the more recent history that lend themselves to a presentation, and make that decision at our next meeting about which one we want to pursue.
Sounds good.
Yeah, this is a very 6th, right? Excellent discussion. What's that, Mary?
I said so. We would plan for a meeting on November 6th.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the meeting on the 6th, we would take a look at the questionnaire and SurveyMonkey, and take a look at between now and then, we'd all take a look at the presentation and see whether or not we want to just kind of start at the front and think about who you would have talking, depending on your decision about what the plan. Again, I think Jack's right. The plan and the recent history about how we got to the plan are probably the two most important topics.
You don't want to publicize that
too
now. Much.
No, but just the effort that people made and the reasons why and what some of the issues were. I mean, it's only going to be 10 or 15 minutes. It's not going to be an hour long. So, there's important information there that everybody should have.
We need to preserve the historical record, Mary, for people, that there's new people on the commission, and there'll be people in the future who are new. So it's like not forgetting the past, and so that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past.
We don't want to have to air too much dirty laundry, though. I think we just
I don't think there's a need to air any dirty laundry. Okay.
All right.
There's a lot of stuff that got decided that's really been good, and I think that's the home rule initiatives and all that. That's really good stuff. So in 10 minutes, I think we could do
Yeah. Okay. But it's a hard job, and less is more when you get to that too, and it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be very, very, very full of information, and not by length, but by strength of the word turgid.
Well, the presentation that Jeff did is very full of information. It's really quite good. So I think we can provide something to the public that is educational without throwing stones.
Right. Now, Fair TV works for the town of Fairfield and other places. Is that what the deal is with them?
The guy said they have a charter or some sort, or I don't know, called it a charter, which must be essentially an agreement with what they must do for the town.
Okay.
So he said this is not included in their charter, but they can do it, and we would pay the person he assigns to do this, the $25 an hour hourly rate. But I can talk with him more about it.
Out of our own special account.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So it's not going to cost a nickel.
The town of Fairfield isn't. We're not asking the town of Fairfield to pay for this.
No, but you need to that's what you need to let the first select person know.
Yeah, well, we will when we figure out how we're going to do all this stuff.
Point. Yeah.
Now, the reason
any other comments, thoughts, concerns?
Thank you.
Very good. We're adjourned until November 6th. Thank you. And Cheryl, I'll get you Betty's phone.
Excellent. Thanks very much.
Excellent meeting.
Good. It was an excellent meeting. Thank you everybody for their input. Good work.
Thank you, Kim.
Bye now.
Yep.
Bye.
See you on the 6th. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.